Good morning. Welcome to World Talks here on TVP World. I'm your host, Marie Kato. Today we examine Hungary at a critical geopolitical crossroads, internationally and at home. As the April parliamentary elections approach, Prime Minister Viktor Orbán's balancing act between East and West is under intense scrutiny, with US Secretary of State Marco Rubio arriving in Budapest and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi concluding a high-profile visit. We ask, where does Hungary's future lie? Joining us is former European Commissioner and Foreign Minister Péter Balázs to discuss the Fidesz-Tisza rivalry and Hungary's shifting alliances. Hello and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
So let's start with a discussion about some diplomatic friction. So we have Secretary of State Marco Rubio visiting Budapest immediately following the Munich Security Conference. In your opinion, what is the primary objective of this visit?
Well, Marco Rubio, Foreign Minister of the United States, is attending the Munich conference. So this is the main objective of his visit. And once he's in Europe, he's jumping over to two neighboring capitals, to Germany, to Slovakia, and to Hungary. We are expecting Marco Rubio coming on Monday, 16th of February. What is common between the two countries, Slovakia and Hungary, that they are very much attached to Russian energy sources, arguing with the landlocked position of the two countries and pretending that there are no alternatives to the Russian energy sources, which is not true. There are several other alternatives. One of them could be gas from Poland, from the Świnoujście port and the pipeline to Hungary, but that would be for Hungary and also for Slovakia from the Adriatic Sea. So what we suppose is that Rubio will talk about American LNG purchase in the two capitals and, of course, having an overview of the situation in Hungary with particular attention on the coming elections in 2 months from now.
Exactly. Do you think that Marco Rubio's visit will somehow impact the election campaign?
Well, I think it would have a very little impact because hardly anybody knows among the voters who is Marco Rubio. If you mention the United States, of course, people know Donald Trump and hardly anybody else. And I would add that any external interference has a rather limited impact because people are taking care of the food prices, energy prices, the quality of the healthcare, the quality of the education, quality of public transport, and I could go on with this list. So people are going to vote about that concrete everyday issues and not about remote foreign policy aspects.
Absolutely. Those everyday issues are always at the forefront of voters. But you say hardly anyone knows who Marco Rubio is. But what about Trump's recent endorsement of Viktor Orbán? Do you think that that will somehow put two and two together in voters' minds? And do you also think that perhaps Trump's recent endorsement, what do you think of that? Would you put that, would you bookmark that as some kind of foreign interference in election campaigning? What do you think of that?
Well, it is not new. Orbán used to be the only European head of government who supported the re-election of Donald Trump during his campaign. And they have a very close and friendly relationship. Orbán visited in his ranch in Mar-a-Lago, and he's preparing to go to Washington on the occasion of this Board of Peace institution. So this is not a new information. This is repeating what people already know. And I think that the general mood in Hungary is what I have just said, that Orbán should govern at home in Budapest instead of flying around the globe and visiting the Turkic Council, the Chinese president, the US president, and others. So the wish of the everyday people would be to have an active prime minister at home.
I just want to talk a little bit more about foreign relations. The Chinese foreign minister's recent visit, Wang Yi, he chose Hungary as his first European stop in 2026. What does this all-weather strategic partnership tell us about Hungary's standing within the EU? What does this tell us about China's perception of Hungary?
I think China is a very important partner, and this is a development if any Hungarian government maintains close relations with China. At the same time, we have to consider the big distance between Budapest and Beijing and Hungary and China. So China is an important additional partner once we have close relations within Europe, but not an alternative to Europe. And this is the mistake of the Orbán government, that they present some remote partners, starting with Russia, going on with China, Turkey, and some others, as if they were alternatives to our European relations. Hungary is a typical continental country, deeply embedded in the European continent, so we have no alternatives to what we have got in Europe. 90% of foreign trade of Hungary is being done in a circle with a diameter of about 1,000 kilometers.
Now, I wanted to move on to some domestic politics about Péter Magyar, the phenomenon of him and who he is. Some opinion polls show that the Tisza party is running neck to neck with Fidesz. Others show that Tisza is way ahead. What is attracting voters to Péter Magyar, previously disillusioned with the traditional opposition? And what is it that is attracting people to Magyar? And if he wins, what does he bring to the table?
Well, I think there is a general atmosphere, a general mood in Hungary that Orbán has been on government in 4 subsequent cycles. This is 16 years. And after 16 years, people are expecting something new and would like something new. This is one point. This is more general. But what is more concrete, that after 16 years of a declining quality of governance, there are several problems in the country, and a new person comes in, a charismatic person, Péter Magyar, who has a very good way of speaking, directly connecting people, going around in the country to small villages and meeting people, and then proposing a very attractive program. A few days ago, the Tisza party has presented its election program with convincing faces, with very well-chosen people, and they have answers to the everyday questions of the people, highly detailed and a very direct program about how Tisza would govern Hungary.
So how do they plan to govern Hungary? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, with high-quality persons, they have presented already 7 or 8 potential ministers who are taking care of the economy, foreign policy, energy, and various others, and it is going on. And they have answers. Orbán presented his last program in 2010, and no other program since that. His only message for the subsequent parliamentary elections was that we carry on, we continue, we are going on, and nothing concrete. At the same time, people are expecting concrete answers. That what about the collapsing health care. What would you do? Or what about the blocked transport issues? Trains are stopping, buses are not circulating, highways are in a bad quality, and so on. So there are concrete everyday problems of the people. But the most important is the very low economic growth. For this year, we are expecting something like 0.2 or 0.3% of growth, which is nothing, and people feel that their quality of life is not increasing, but prices increasing.
Now, we've heard some news of a potential sex tape plot. Péter Magyar recently was warned of a blackmail plot involving some AI-generated or illegally recorded content. Is this a sign that the 2026 campaign is said to be the dirtiest in Hungarian history? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, this is illustrating the very low quality of the Fidesz campaign. In a general approach, Fidesz has no positive messages. They have mainly negative elements attacking Brussels, in quotation marks, which is meaning the European Union, singling out Ukraine as an enemy, which is not true. Ukraine is not an enemy of Hungary, but on billboards on the streets of Hungary, you can see the pictures of Zelensky together with Ursula von der Leyen on one side and Manfred Weber from the European People's Party on the other side, taking away the money of Hungarians for investing into the war in Ukraine. This is one of the messages. So you can see the very low moral quality and the content of that message. If an AI rated video is appearing, it wouldn't be new because the government, the Fidesz party, has already published a fake program for the Tisza party. So they have constructed an AI-generated tax program attributed to the Tisza party that Tisza would tax the pensioners. Tisza would increase the income and so on, which is a lie, and it's very regrettable that a campaign is being operated at that moral level.
Okay, Péter Balázs, we're going to have to wrap it up there. Thank you so much to our guest this morning, Péter Balázs, former European Commissioner and Hungarian Foreign Minister. Thank you so much for being with us.
You're welcome.
And that's a wrap for World Talks this morning. Thanks so much for being with us, and we'll keep you updated with more news and headlines. Goodbye.